So what it says our highest priority is to satisfy the customer. The first principle says they always find the more highest priority on satisfying the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Then the next principle says welcome changing requirements even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. So what they say is that let's embrace the change. So if you have change coming at the late also, you should welcome that. You have to manage that change in some other way. Whether you agree upon that change or you will resist, you have to adopt that because you have to make your customer happy. So whether you want or not, you have to. So let's welcome that change. Okay. And there are different ways how we can manage that change even late in development, but that's one of the principles which is listed down. Then the next was deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with a preference to the shorter time scale. And that is very important because if you look at the traditional or plant driven, always you can get the end product after you are at the end of your deadline. That time only you can, or the customer can see that end product. But what Agile says, don't wait for that much time. If you have a 3-year contract or 3-year product development or project development deadline, don't wait for 3 years. So what we can do, we can start building 1 or 2 features, whatever is possible in a couple of weeks and deliver it to the customer. Let's show it to them. If anything is required to be changed, let's do that. So that is one thing which can help us to get the to reduce the surprises at the last moment. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the process. So that is one thing where if you are normally the developer will get the clarification on the requirement to the business people only. So they should work together. Otherwise, it will be always a difficult situation where the developer will assume something else, whether the business people are trying to communicate something different. So if you look at the first slide, which we have seeing in that diagram, even somebody has explained, the customer has explained his change or requirement, which has been understood something in a different way. So if they will work together, the more collaboration will be there. It is very, very helpful for them to understand the problem in a better way. Build projects around motivated individuals. That is very, very important because you cannot have a successful project without motivated individuals. And there are various practices which will help to get at that level, but that is one of the principles which needs to be followed. So give them the environment and support they need and trust them to go get the job done. And the trust is the really important thing. Next principle is the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. And we all agree upon, if you are talking to somebody over the phone or through mail, that communication is not that much effective if you are talking to that same person face to face. So there is lots of difference. And I will tell you, because of this principle, initially there was a myth that you cannot, or rather you can use Agile when you have co-located team. So even if you have distributed team, and distributed means it can be on the same building, on the different floor, or maybe in the same city, the different buildings where the different teams are there, or maybe the different cities, different geographic location. But I will discuss on this particular myth later also. So that is one of the principles. So idea here is they want to tell that if we can avoid other communication rather than we can just focus on face-to-face, which is going to eliminate lots of misinterpretation. Then the next is working software is the primary measure of progress. And that is very, very important. We should not focus on how much we have completed because of that MPP says that these many days has been passed, 60% or 30% work has been done. rather than we just focus on the working software, which are the features available, which is actually working. So that is the primary measure of progress. Agile processes promote sustainable development. So always it will go on a flow, and that flow should be having a should be defined at all the level, like sponsors, developers, users, and they should be able to maintain that as well. The next is continuous attention should be given to technical excellence, and good design enhances the agility. So always focus on how to arrive at a technical excellence at the team level so that we can have the good design. And once we will have these two things, we will have more and more agility in our product or the project. The next principle is really very important, and I like this very much. The simplicity is essential, and what it means is, it says that simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done. So whatever work is not done, that is your pending things, we should highlight that rather than how much we have completed. And why it is called as simple or simplicity? I will give you one example. Say for an example, you have to drive a car and you have to go to a destination A to B. Now the distance between A to B is 150 kilometers. Now if somebody will ask how much time you will need, it depends upon lots of things, which vehicle you are going to take, what is the road condition, what is the traffic situation, and there could be lots of other external factors. But anyway, if you have gone through that particular route so many times, at least you will tell that yes, I will require, say for an example, it is required 2 hours. Now when you are driving your car in the road, in the highway, after traveling half an hour, and you want to see what you would like to see, or normally if you will be in the highway, you will see the milestone. What the milestone says? The milestone always tells you that okay, the 50 kilometer is what? 50 kilometer is still remaining to reach the destination B. And why it's important? You will never bother to know how much you have completed. You will always bother to know how much is still there. And based upon that, if it is still the time is a lot, maybe you will go in a constant space, or you will try to speed up or whatever. But you will always try to know how much is pending. And that is what this principle says. We should always try to highlight how much work is not done, how much is still pending, rather than highlighting how much we have completed. So that's a major change if you look at that plan-driven approach, where we will always try to see that okay, 60% we have completed or 40% we have completed. The next is the best architectures, requirements, and design emerge from self-organizing teams. So the self-organized teams means the team who can manage their work on their, or organize their work on their own, not by somebody from the outside. And if that type of team is there, we can have the best architecture, we can understand the requirement, we can have the design, and so on. The last one is, it says at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Because as I told you that it's a self-organized team, they should understand where they are lacking, what the things they have done in the wrong way, how they can improve their things. So at regular interval, they should do that. And with these 4 values and 12 principles, lots of methods has emerged after that, and we got almost four or five different type of agile methods. Most popular are XP, Extreme Programming, and Scrum. There are others also, like we had Crystal, we had FDD, we had DSTM. So But more popular are these two, XP and Scrum. And Scrum is focused on more management related practices, while XP is more focused on engineering practices. So many teams adopt both of these two and combine together, and they are trying to attain that success. Okay. Coming to the next slide, let's focus on some of the limitations. So as I told you, this agile method has that manifesto and the principles came into the picture in 2001, and once it came into the existence, people started asking lots of questions based upon whatever the observation they had in the principles and the manifesto. So one observation was there is a limited support for distributed environments, and initially they were telling that it is not possible because as per the agile principle, face-to-face communication is essential. So immediately at that moment, no one has used, no one has practiced, or some limited experience was there. So answer was like, okay, we have never tried. But people started trying that, and there are lots of ways to cope up with this limited support for distributed environment. So development environment in which team members, customers are physically distributed, face-to-face communication is not possible, that is for sure. But we can use lots of technologies like video conferencing is possible, direct session is possible, sharing the desktop is possible, webcam we can use, and there are some other ways as well. Telecom also we can use at certain extent with the telecom and the WebEx, like how we are doing at this moment. And that way we can have certain limited aspect comparing to the face-to-face, and we can achieve that success. And there are lots of people, lots of organizations has worked a lot on this. Right now, if you will try to search on the distributed agile or something, you will get lots of suggestions and the experiences which people has used. One URL I would like to share here is from Martin Fowler's blog. Martin Fowler was one of the 17th engineer who has co-authored that Agile Manifesto and Principles. So you can have a look on that also, agileoffshore.html. He has written a nice blog there, nice article, and you can get lots of ideas how to cope up with that. Maybe in the coming session we will discuss on that in detail. Then there was another like limited support for building reusable artifacts. So they were telling that since you are not going to focus on all the aspect of the application only for a couple of weeks, you are just going to take that requirement and you are start building that application, might be you will that agile team cannot reproduce a reusable artifacts. So first of all, that building reusable artifact is very controversial topic. You can't say that we have built reusable because you feel that. But yes, of course, if in your entire product development, if you are going to use that, that is very good. So there are lots of practices because in Agile, they are focusing a lot on the refactoring techniques, and there are tons of refactoring techniques at level which is used to improve your existing code. So you can remove your redundancies, you can remove that stiffness in your code, and finally you will be able to get the reusable artifacts. And there are lots of organizations which are using that product-based company, and almost all product-based companies they are using like right now these agile and engineering practices. So there is no issue with this nowadays. So initially it was called as limitations, and now it is nothing but a myth. Coming to the next slide, again two more limitations are there. So another limitation which people started talking about, so you cannot use it on the safety critical software. And one example I have actually heard from lots of people, one in case of enterprise architecture summit was there also I have heard and somebody from the Agile conference also, one person has given the similar example, where they were telling that if NASA or ISRO kind of organization is going to use Agile method, then how they will launch the satellite. So it will be on the cycle, on the iteration. So first iteration it will go at certain height, the satellite, and then after second iteration from that height to the next height, and finally it will launch to the orbit. And we also know that this is theoretically it looks good, or it looks more funny, but practically it's not possible at all. Okay, so in that context, I will just give you one example. This Agile world has been taken from one of the NASA project in 1962, and there they have tried to build some software system applications on the iterative mode, on the iterative incremental mode, and they have used this word Agile, and it has been taken from there. And right now also, if you look at NASA, if you will look at any other like Cathay Pacific Airlines, or there are lots of that we are feeling that if they are reproducing, they are producing safety critical software. Actually, they are using this Agile method there as well. There are many ways which we could use to make it as more secure, more tested application. We can use the TDD, we can use pair programming, we can have that refactoring, we can have that CI continuous integration, and lots of other aspects, which makes this safety critical software development possible through Agile method as well. Last one was limited support for development involving large teams. So again, it's just a myth, because nowadays, as I told you, that most of the product companies, they are using these Agile methods, and even I have seen that people having 100 of in the team, and they are able to use that. There are lots of different way, and now that scaling of these Agile methods are actually possible. There are some tweaks, some customization, some tailoring you have to do, but again, you have to stick with the principles and the values, core values, and that means you are using that Agile methods. So again, these two limitations later turned up as myths only. So what the benefit we are going to get? So there are some benefits which I have listed down here. One is from the customer perspective or the stakeholders perspective, early return on investment. So they will be able to see that whatever they are investing, they are able to get it every iteration. And that is very important. Rapid learning, that even the team, even the customer, even the business people, they are able to learn that whatever the things they are finding is having a gap, and they will be able to fill that gap. And once they are able to see their ROI, the stakeholders, including the customer, will be much happier, right? So we will have the satisfied stakeholders. Increased control. Sorry. Yeah, so increased control. Agile methods enable better control of work. Then the responsiveness to change. Agile method increase return on investment, accelerate learning, and satisfaction, stakeholder satisfaction. And at any moment when they will ask any change, the team will be able to respond to that particular change. So that is one of the benefits what we can get in the Agile. So now we can you can start at your end. You can just start noting down what you follow so far, and in what condition you cannot apply it. So whether if you are going for the iterative mode, can you your entire development cycle, can you just make it as shortened, like couple of weeks, and so on. Or suppose if you are doing undefined way also, you can just identify what you follow normally, what is defined in your organization, and in what condition you are not doing that, right? That is one thing you should do. So that was one thing that you can start noting down if you are new to Agile adoption.